Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, what is the difference between string array and char array in Java programming? Let me answer this question followed by practical demonstration. So what is the difference between the string array and character array or char array? So obviously guys, string array will store a group of string objects. Okay. If you're creating an array of string type, then that particular array is going to store multiple strings. You see, strings in Java are object oriented. So whatever the strings, okay, a group of strings or string text that you're going to store into the string array, right? They'll be stored in the form of objects. And obviously, the string objects are immutable. Okay. Normal string also, if you create, right? They're immutable in nature. Okay. So what do I mean by immutable? Everything I'm going to explain practically, guys. Just wait for a while. And third thing is that you have to use a string array. Obviously, you have to use a string array when you need to work with sequences of characters. Instead of single character, if you want a group of characters together, which forms a word or sentences, right? That kind of words or sentences surrounded by double quotes will be stored into the string array. Okay. A group of such kind of, string literal texts can be stored into this string array. Each and every string literal text is nothing but a reference to the string object. Okay. Obviously, you're creating an object for each and every string literal that you're storing into this array, string array. Okay. But coming to the char array, here I have to write lowercase c, char array. It stores primitive char values, primitive data types. Char is a primitive data type, while string is a predefined class in Java, while char is a primitive data type, which is not object oriented in nature. Okay, Java is not 100% object oriented programming language, guys, because in Java we have a concept known as primitive data types, which actually makes it not 100%. It is an object oriented, but not 100% because of primitive data types. Because when you create an array by declaring that array with this char primitive data type, then the group of character literals or data that you are storing into this char array, okay, for that objects are not created, guys. Hence, automatically char array are, okay, elements in the character array are mutable. Elements in the string array are immutable, whereas elements inside the char array are mutable. There's another difference. It's very easy to understand, right? Because if there is no object, obviously it's going to be mutable, guys. Okay, I'll explain more. So use char array when you need to work with individual characters. If you want a group, if you want to store a group of characters into this an array, you have to declare that array as char primitive data type. Okay. Now let me practically demonstrate and explain all these points so that they will become more easy for you to understand. For that, I'll switch to Eclipse IDE and create a new package, guys. I'll create a new package here. I'll name this package as .5 package I'm creating. Under this package, I'm going to create a class. I'll just name this class as demo class with main method. Some sample demo class or sample class you can create. Inside that main method, if I want to, okay, if I want to store a group of strings like this by say string array, SAR is equal to shortcut representation of the string array will be like this. And here I'll give my name, okay, Arun. Then I'll give Varun. Then I'll give Tarun. Okay. Then I'll give Bhaskar. Then I'll say Dawat, like the different names I'm giving. Okay. So here, each and every string literal is nothing but for each and every string literal represented are being stored into the string array. For each and every string literal in the computer memory, an object will be created, and that for that object, some memory will be allocated. Okay, what happens here is in the computer memory, okay, for this particular string array, some memory will be allocated for here, some memory will be allocated for the string array. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It will be divided into 5 slots, let's say, because of the array nature. It will be divided into 5 slots, 3, 4, 5, let's say. In the first place, what is being stored? Arun is being stored. This is object 1. Object 1. Here object 2. Each and every string literal, an object will be created, and for that object, some memory will be allocated. In that memory, these string literals are getting stored. Here object 3, object 4, object 5, and object 5. Okay, here I'll write down object 1, object 2, object 3, Arun, Bhaskar, and Rawat. Like this. Different string objects have been stored, okay, created, and in that the string literals are being stored. Now what happens tomorrow is, now if you do any updations here, for example, SAR of 0 is equal to, okay, if you try to update the value of Arun with, let's say, okay, you are changing Arun to something known as, okay, Venkatesh or something, okay, some name, some different name, okay, you are updating the name of Arun to Venkatesh. In that case, what will happen here? You may think that this object will be deleted, the data in this particular object will be updated with the Venkatesh. It's not going to happen, guys. Rather, another object will be created, guys. Another object will be created. Another object will be created. In that, Venkatesh will be stored. Okay. In that, Venkatesh will be stored. This is what happens, guys. That's why we say strings are immutable in nature. Okay. Not only string array, guys. Basically, string, whatever the string you create are immutable in nature. But you create the string array like this, okay? But you update, when you update the one of the string literal that is being assigned to the string array, what happens? The object will be, another object will be created, object 6 will be created. In that object 6, okay, here instead of removing this Arun from this object 1 and storing Venkatesh in place of Arun, it's not going to happen. Every time you update the value of the string class, object difference, okay, a new object will be created. That's why we say externally it will update gates. If you print it out, it will print Venkatesh, Varun, Tarun, Bhaskar, Gawat in the output when I print all these elements of this array. But the problem here is, internally speaking, the memory allocated and the for the object created for this Arun will not get updated with this value, guys. Rather, a new object will be created, and for that new memory will be allocated. In that, Venkatesh will be stored. That's what happens during this updation process. Not only for this string array, guys, not only for this string array, normal string also same issue only. It's not an issue, it's how it works. Okay, string name is equal to, if I say Arun here, what happens in my computer memory? Some memory will be allocated. Okay, for this, some object will be created, some object obj1 or something, I'll just say, will be created. In that, Arun will be stored generally, right? Now, the next line, if I say name is equal to Arun here, what happens? You may think that this Arun will be striked off, and in place of the Tarun will come, you will think, but it's not going to happen. Okay. Only the problem here is a new memory, new object will be created. New object will be created. Let's say obj2. Obj2 will be created. And to that obj2, in that obj2, this Tarun will be saved. And now this object reference, whatever the object reference that you have used, that name as an object reference, right? Earlier, the name object reference was referring to this particular object where Arun is being stored. Now, once you update the value, name is no more referring to this one. Rather, name is referring to the newly created object, object 2 where Tarun is being stored. But is this memory got deallocated or deleted? No, not yet. Okay. So every time you update the value for a string object reference, an object reference which is declared with string predefined class, every time a new object will be created. That's why we say that strings are immutable in nature. Okay. Externally, we can update, but internally they are immutable. Objects are getting created without deleting or updating the. Internally, it's not getting updated. Externally, it's getting updated. That's why strings are immutable. Okay. Since strings are immutable, the elements that you are store, the elements that you are going into the string array are also going to be immutable only. This is a basic functionality of a string. What about the char array? So here you can see that source references to the string objects, elements in a string array are immutable. Using strings when you need to work with sequences of characters. Here each and everything is sequence of character. Arun, 1, 2, 3, 4, sequence of 4 characters, sequence of 5 characters, sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters, sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters, sequence of some 7 characters or something like that. Sequence of characters are nothing but strings. Okay. And such kind of sequence of characters can be stored into a string array. What about char array? What is the difference? Stores primitive character values, char data type values, primitive char data type. Char data type is a primitive data type, CR I'll say. And here, A, R, U, N, like this I'll give, okay, by name. But here individual characters surrounded by single quotes will be there. Such kind of group of single character literals can be stored into the character array. But here each and every character literal is not of object oriented type. It's a primitive data type. Hence no object will be created in the computer memory. No object will be created for each and every character literal here, because this will be stored directly into the variable, guys. Okay. Okay. No object will be created in the computer memory, directly stored. So here it's not object oriented and there is no possibility. Hence, when you update this character value, right? When you update the char value, char of 0 is equal to, if I give, okay, I will give something, Z or something, okay. So in that case, what happens here? New object will not be created, guys, okay. Here, object itself is not getting created for this character, individual character letters when you create them, okay. Hence, it's a primitive data type. There's no object-oriented concept here. So when you try to update, the value of this particular thing will be updated with this Z. A will be updated with Z, guys. Okay. With internally also, it is mutable. Elements inside the character array are mutable in nature. Okay. They'll get updatable. They are updatable, and they'll not create new instances or new objects for each and every stuff. Okay. That's why they are called as mutable. Okay. Stores primitive character values. Okay. Char data type values. Use character array when you need to work with individual characters. When you want to work with individual characters, you have to go with the character array. If you want to work with a sequence of characters kind of stuff, you have to go with the string array. This is a very basic explanation you have to give for this difference between the string array and character array. You don't have to make it too complex. This much of explanation is more than enough, guys. So whatever I covered in this session is more than enough. Okay. Very basic, guys. Don't make these statements kind of complex. They are very simple to understand. Okay. Stores differences to objects, stores primitive char values. Elements in a string are immutable. Elements in a char are immutable, because here string objects, object oriented type, and also in the normal string class also, the values when you update string literal values, when you update, right, a new object gets created. That's why they are immutable internally. Here mutable, either external or internal, both mutable only. Okay. Individual characters and a sequence of characters which actually form as strings literals can be stored into the string array. A group of individual characters surrounded by single quotes can be stored into the char array. If you can explain that naturally, right, you don't have to theoretically or definition wise you can explain. Just explain it in a natural way to the interviewer who asks you this particular question with this practical demonstration. If you can answer, definitely the interviewer will get will get impressed. Okay, so that's all for this session, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.